Hello everyone, this is Bobbin Threadbare and welcome back to Deus Ex. Today we've got a quiet episode for you. And by that I mean I'm not going to be firing a gun in this entire episode. There will be a lot of talking, however.
Keep going. Atonway is in the tube below.
Let's start with some of these cops.
You travel at your own risk tonight, monsieur. We have had trouble with impatient passengers who walk into the tunnels and get themselves electrocuted. You must take responsibility for your own travel decisions and for understanding the relevant laws and regulations. It's not my job to memorize the train schedule. Bonjour. We have had trouble with impatient passengers who walk into... The terrorism alert is still active. You must take responsibility for your own travel decisions and for understanding the relevant laws and regulations.
Looks like we've got a few different ways to travel here. Not quite sure what this room is all about. Might be some kind of staff break room.
Oh, I see now. Your friend is waiting by the tracks.
Do you know me?
More gangsters every day. You have weapons? I am selling weapon modifications. 750 for accuracy, 800 for range. Also, I was lucky to find Thermoptic Camo, 5,000.
Can't recall if those are high or low prices. Anyway, I don't need two of those, so...
A range weapon mod for 800. Deal.
Here it is.
Forgot I even had an open spot there. Oh. That area looks interesting, but it's kind of hard to get up there. Luckily, super speed. Oh, is that all? Let's see here. Oh, a notebook with a pin number. How naughty. Oh, whoops.
What do you want to buy?
I came across your journal. So, you've been stealing from security.
Hey, you're reading my private memos?
You got the stuff for free. Maybe you should give me a discount. Or should I turn you in?
Go ahead, I don't care. What are they going to believe? Their own mechanic or suspicious foreigner? Ha! You will pay full price.
No thanks.
I don't even want the rest of your junk, man. Still, maybe we can get a discount out of this.
Travel advisories are in effect.
Hey, I thought you might like to know. One of your mechanics is stealing from security.
Jodorowsky we know, but we have other things to worry about.
He's in the station right now. It would be easy to arrest him.
We are in the middle of a terrorism emergency. We don't have time to chase petty thieves.
Well, fair enough.
You must take responsibility for your own travel decisions.
Although I wonder if the mechanic's got something new to say now.
What do you want to buy?
I turned you in. Maybe you should have given me that discount.
You told them?
It's not too late. Maybe I can help you get out of here. If you'll part with some of that hardware.
I will not go to jail. No, never. Get out of the way. I had to do it. I needed the money. Get out of the way.
Makes it sound like he's running somewhere. But, you know, I don't really like you. That's for being an asshole. I don't know. Maybe I could have handled that better. Or maybe it was just a lesson to teach me that I can't always win. Either way, I'm glad I bought the range mod first. It took a surprising number of hits. Anyway, this is the ATM I would get money out of. But there's only one on this map, so I can't use the trick, assuming it even works. But hey, 900. That's not too bad. So, that's 3 ways out of 4.
You travel at your own risk tonight, monsieur. It's not my job to memorize the train schedule. We have had trouble with impatient passengers who walk into the tunnels.
I guess they don't care about that guy anymore. Well, maybe they'll arrest him anyway. He is kinda knocked out.
The terrorism alert is still active.
Huh. Paris Metro's map. I wonder how accurate that is. I've been to Paris once, but that was years ago.
The terrorism alert is still active.
It must be around 11 o'clock. But wait. France uses the 24-hour clock. So why would it say 11 when it's at night? Anyway, just thought you should know, but if you do stand on the railroad tracks, you will get electrocuted, and it will kill you. Also, I feel like leading this guy on a merry chase. I don't know, just something fun to do. But yeah, you can actually run into the train tunnel for quite a ways, actually, although you will die. There's nothing out there except electrocution.
J.C. Denton, I will take you to Everett, but you will be forbidden to learn the way yourself.
That will be quite a trick.
You will not be armed in any way.
Well, actually, there is no other way to find Everett, so...
Do what you must.
Step a little closer. See, no inconvenience whatsoever.
Everett must be paranoid.
We all are. The Illuminati is getting a taste of its own medicine.
Has he made any progress on the Grey Death virus?
Europe-Link provided the missing encryption key. He has been able to complete the work that Professor Tong began.
I must see him at once.
He is downstairs in the lab. It would be rather serendipitous if Bob Page invented something Everett could not figure out. We have never failed to decipher Majestic 12's plans. Stopping them, however, has been another matter. Everett thinks you can help us. I hope he's right. You will be heading back to America, if I understand correctly. Your President Meade survived the coup attempt, but he won't survive a national epidemic of the plague. Page is manufacturing the virus again, while Simons readies the paperwork to declare national emergency. The logical response is for us simply to cure the plague. Everett has a vaccine, but we need a way to manufacture it. He has a plan, but he has kept the details to himself. You better talk with Everett. Time is short. You better talk with Everett. Time is short.
Alright, so for reference, this is the front door, which we are not leaving by. But it is the way that we got in here. You can actually see quite a bit of Paris from here. I swear those archways look familiar, but I don't recall the street looking like this when we were on Champs-Élysées. Well. Anyhow. That's hardly important. Now it's time to explore this actually quite extensive apartment complex thing. It's not quite a mansion.
The Illuminati's objective is to govern the world. Do not be deceived.
Yeah, heard it all before. That's right. I never applied this range mod. Well, I've done so now. Now what's this all about? Nah, locked. Yeah, I figured. I think I dropped one of those earlier.
You missed dinner, but help yourself to a snack. Do not to disturb Lucius de Beers.
Who's Lucius de Beers?
Oh, you do not know him?
Someone who works for Everett?
It is not for me to discuss Mr. de Beers.
Why? Is there something to hide?
He is a friend of Mr. Everett's and very sick. You must not disturb him or inquire about him. I am not permitted to discuss Mr. de Beers. Just cleaning up. Don't let Mr. Everett catch you snooping around. Mr. Everett is in the laboratory. You are keeping Mr. Everett waiting. Just cleaning up. You are keeping Mr. Everett waiting.
Only one way to go from here. Wonder what this room's for. Storing prod charges, I guess. Oh, this must be the aquarium. Poor cat must be going crazy looking at all these fish. Oh, hey there, buddy.
Good news, huh? Looks like we might pull this thing off.
Alex, what are you doing here?
Tong sent me. He wanted me to help with the decryption.
Looks like Everett has it all figured out.
Listen quickly. Tong doesn't trust the Illuminati. He sent me here to keep an eye on Everett.
I see. How about the triads? Is the truth going to hold?
Last I heard, but I guess we have other things to worry about now, huh? I'll keep you in touch through your info link. I'll try my best to keep you informed.
Yes, do exactly that. Keep me informed.
Odd way of putting that.
You won't be hearing from Tong for a while. He had to leave Hong Kong.
Why? The triads?
He said he had some business to take care of. I don't know. He didn't look so good.
Sick?
Either that or something was bothering him. The last thing he said to me, it was something about all the machines in his lab being useless. And then he cut off the connection.
Useless for what?
It was just an outburst. I don't know, but he wants me to wait here for instructions. JC, Tong is serious about Everett. He wants you to be careful. While you're in the air, I guess I'll be helping Everett prepare Daedalus for the attack. I hope he knows what he's doing. The Echelon kernel was designed almost exclusively for collecting data, so we have to add functionality for memory wipes, thread termination, that kind of thing. It's not often you get to construct a software worm that might do some good for the world. Everett and Tong will need some control of the network if they're ever going to come out of hiding. Good luck at Vandenberg. Some of the best scientists in the world have joined up with Savage. I'll keep you updated on the situation here. While you're in the air, I guess I'll be helping Everett prepare Daedalus for the attack. I hope he knows what he's doing. Good luck at Vandenberg.
Alright, now let's see what Alex was working on here. Something seemed a little off about his voice. Like, ooh, 2 important numbers. I'll write those down. There's just something a little odd about his voice, like something happened during the recording. It's actually kind of funny, those hydroponic tables are a little weird. I mean, the physics, when you try and interact with them, weird things happen. Oh, there's the man himself, but screw him. We got more exploration to do. I got the aquarium key, and by God, I am going to use it. Kind of weird that it's got this connecting tunnel thing, though. But this is all it's good for. A rebreather and some darts. Pretty appropriate for, you know, finding them underwater, but also pretty useless to me. Alright. Guess I can't put it off any longer. Let's have a chat, shall we?
So this is where the Illuminati ended up after centuries of conspiring to rule the world.
The conspiracy is about to begin again, JC, between you and me. Nicolette was wise to bring us together. Wise like her mother. The most effective partnerships, like Beth's and mine, arise from mutual necessity.
I came to talk about the Grey Death. Atanway said you cracked the virus.
A trivial matter. Page added nothing to the core design. However, what we need to construct is a carbonocarbon ROM module, not exactly a vaccine.
Can it be done without a universal constructor?
No, we need time on a UC. but I know where we might find one and also gain access to the U.S. military networks.
U.S. military?
To stop Icarus from completely destroying the Daedalus AI. Daedalus is a design of mine. It replaced the old Echelon 3 network.
Echelon? The surveillance system for the United Nations. So Daedalus was an MJ-12 tool and rebelled?
More of a pattern-matching error. It classified Majestic 12 as a terrorist group, alongside the NSF and Silhouette.
And alongside the Illuminati, right? Are you sure Daedalus is your ally?
What matters to us is that it opposes Majestic 12. We must help it destroy their intelligence apparatus. But that will require the military networks. I have already contacted Gary Savage of X-51.
The former Area 51 scientists. Are they still camped out at the Vandenberg Air Force Base?
They are close to completing a UC and have the kind of connection Daedalus will need.
Sounds like my pilot and I should head to Vandenberg.
Yes, I took the liberty of radioing him. Here is the key to the helipad stairway. The door is in the foyer where Atanwe revived you. Good luck. I will be in contact. Don't forget to say hi to your friend from UNATCO, Mr. Jacobson.
Already bumped into him.
Very thoughtful of Tom. My own computer technician. I suppose he can help me prepare a comlink for Daedalus. You saw a piece of Echelon 3 in Beth's chateau. We salvaged some of the hardware. Surveillance used to be daemon-based. Daedalus is more distributed. A blip of his code runs on every communication device on the planet. If we control communications, we can organize and the other side cannot. Lack of organization is exactly what has plagued X-51. They're great scientists, but isolated. They left Area 51 to protest Majestic 12's experiments, and that's what it amounted to, a protest. They don't even coordinate with the NSF, which is headquartered a few hundred miles to the north. You see the need for global organization. Someone has to bring these disparate groups together. X-51 has assembled excellent technology. They just need someone to help them use it. You will be my representative at Vandenberg. I will trust you to find a way to manufacture the cure. Meanwhile, I have other preparations to make. I will trust you to find a way to manufacture the cure. Meanwhile, I have other preparations to make.
So, to turn off these two containers, I could just use that security terminal, but I have the codes, so why not use them? Nah, wrong one. There we go. I'm just curious what these two are. Certainly don't need them at this point. Now how about you? Ah, damn it, wrong one. That was silly. Alright, so iMod and subdermal mod. Let's see. Well, I use Power Recirculator a lot. Might as well. Now, for 3,500, what can I buy? I'm tempted to get weapons pistol, but I don't even use pistols anymore. What do I use? Could wait a little while and get a lockpicking or electronics. I suppose that's what I'll do. What do we got in here? Looks like it's accuracy and laser. That's not worth opening it up. Alright, now it's time to look into those two closed off areas that I was in.
While you're in the air, I guess I'll be helping Everett prepare data.
Can't believe I forgot. I need to get my sword back. Silly me. I don't just hand those things out. Anyway, so I can go into one of two secret areas at this point. Well, now the interesting thing is that you can actually go into either one first. There's a key to the other one in each area. Also, this is the helipad up here.
Just got refueled. Been waiting for you.
There's something to do up here, too. It's more interesting if I head back down afterwards. So you may notice that there's a dead engineer here, and then there's a living engineer over here.
Huh? Is there a problem?
Just looking around.
I checked her out. She's fueled up and ready to go.
Is something wrong?
Huh? No, I said I checked her out. You want the thing to run, right? If you're gonna cross the ocean.
Of course. Better safe than sorry.
I fixed her right up for you. Something wrong? I think your friend's ready to go. I got a pretty cush job, huh? I think your friend's ready to go.
So, if I wanted to, I could just handle this matter immediately. If I take out that odd mechanic and then talk to Jock, lethally or non-lethally, then he'll find out that there's something wrong, and things will proceed from there. But I can also go and talk to Everett again. And some more interesting things will happen if I handle it that way. That's why I went up to just sort of check in on things, because we will be heading back to Everett for several reasons. That was kind of pointless, but I just felt like doing it. See? Here you go. That is the code to the other secret area. Also, what the hell is going on in here?
What are you doing back here? Denton, right?
Yeah. You're alive in that thing?
I am conscious. Tell Everett I am cold. He keeps me so cold.
Who are you? Do you mind if I ask?
The Supreme Enlightened. The leader of the Illuminati.
I thought Everett was a leader.
I am the leader. I brought the Illuminati up through the 20th century to the height of their power. I had presidents and premiers eating out of my hand. I am the one. Our decline is the result of my own. All we need is for me to get back on my feet. What did Everett tell you?
Nothing.
I merely await certain technologies. Then I will be restored. Everett has sworn it. He promised me. I'm so cold. Tell Everett I'm cold. He needs me. The Illuminati would have ruled the planet if only he had listened to me years ago. I was the one who warned him about Paige. Everett was too enamored with his young apprentice, Bob Page, to listen to an old man like me. I demand that he check my thermostat. The maid must have bumped it, I'm certain. We should have poisoned Page the first time he forged laboratory data. We don't equivocate about outsiders, do we? Mr. Kennedy mentions a plot during a speech at Columbia University. He's out. No discussion, no matter that we got him elected. But a student of ours, an initiate, oh heavens, no. Too often, we aid the ambitious, and then they get away from us. Kennedys, the Chinese, now Bob Page. Don't you get away from us, young Denton. We can't afford to lose you. I feel so numb. Get Everett down here. Hurry. He ignores my transmissions. I am too tired now. Go away. Don't you get away from us, young Dim.
Well, that's kind of a surprise. Especially considering how much information he has for us, if we just ignore the fact that he doesn't have brackets around him. Now let's have a chat with Everett again.
Hey, about your mechanic at the helipad. Something about him seemed a little off.
Yes, Pierre. I haven't been able to reach him. What's wrong?
Pierre? He sounded American to me.
Pierre has never been to America. Who's up there? He's not one of my people.
I don't know, but he shouldn't be working on the chopper.
You better get back to the helipad on the double. That man must be eliminated. One spy could wreck everything we're working for.
I won't let him get away. Lucius de Beers says he's cold.
I know. 18 degrees Celsius, to be exact.
Don't you think that's a little chilly?
I keep his metabolism low so he will last. He is a good advisor. A one-man think tank, so to speak.
He said he's the leader of the Illuminati.
A harmless fantasy. He also thinks I'm going to restore his body.
You aren't?
The technology has been around for decades, but he does not need to know that. Meanwhile, I have other preparations to make. You will be my representative at Vandenberg. Meanwhile, I have other preparations to make.
Damn, man, you're cold. Not even an extra word about the poor guy. But before I go anywhere else, I should probably head over this way and check out that second secret area. And see what the hell is up with that nose. Yeah, here's the key to the other side. Or to the other secret area. What the hell are you?
J.C. Denton, 23 years old. No residence. No ancestors. No employer. No...
How do you know who I am?
I'm a screenage visitor with a complete summary of his file. I'm a prototype for a much larger system.
What else do you know about me?
Everything that can be known.
Go on. Do you have proof about my ancestors?
You are a planned organism, the offspring of knowledge and imagination, rather than of individuals.
I'm engineered, so what? My brother and I suspected as much while we were growing up.
You are carefully watched by many people. The unplanned organism is a question asked by nature and answered by death. You are another kind of question, with another kind of answer.
Are you programmed to invent riddles?
I'm a prototype for a much larger system. The heuristics language developed by Dr. Everett allows me to convey the highest and most succinct tier of any pyramidal construct of knowledge.
How about a report on yourself?
I was a prototype for Echelon 4. My instructions are to amuse visitors with information about themselves.
I don't see anything amusing about spying on people.
Human beings feel pleasure when they are watched. I have recorded their smiles as I tell them who they are.
Some people just don't understand the dangers of indiscriminate surveillance.
The need to be observed and understood was once satisfied by God. Now, we can implement the same functionality with data mining algorithms.
Electronic surveillance hardly inspires reverence. Perhaps fear and obedience, but not reverence.
God and the gods were apparitions of observation, judgment, and punishment. Other sentiments toward them were secondary.
No one will ever worship a software entity peering at them through a camera.
The human organism always worships. First, it was the gods. Then, it was fame, the observation and judgment of others. Next, it would be the self-aware systems you have built to realize truly omnipresent observation and judgment.
You underestimate humankind's love of freedom.
The individual desires judgment. Without that desire, the cohesion of groups is impossible. And so is civilization. The human being created civilization, not because of a willingness, but because of a need to be assimilated into higher orders of structure and meaning. God was a dream of good government. You will soon have your God, and you will make it with your own hands.
And that is all that is. That is the entire purpose and point of that room, to have that one unnecessary bonus conversation with the prototype of a much larger system. It feeds into nothing. I think you only get a few measly skill points for finding the place.
Where is he? I will remember these small injustices. When I am revived, I will remember.
Might as well tell the truth.
Everett has no intention of reviving you.
He must. He has been commanded.
He keeps you on ice so that he can benefit from your experience, but he intends to rule the Order himself.
No. No. I will not allow it. If I only had command of my body. Now even Everett betrays the Illuminati. Can no one be trusted? Young Denton, use the computer to my left. Find a way to shut me down. All I wanted was to touch the world one more time. Take one more breath of air. I will not be a prisoner. I command you. Kill me. I command you. I command you.
Who am I to refuse dying man's last request? Plus, this is really terrible, honestly. Nothing here but a couple of cameras, so... Good night, Mr. De Beers. I hope whatever comes next is more pleasant.
What did I tell you? That was my former colleague, my friend. I know he wasn't doing very well and he was in pain, but I wanted to keep him alive. Stop messing with my equipment and get to the helicopter.
His former colleague, his friend, and his equipment.
Alright, start talking. Who sent you?
I don't know what you mean.
You got a funny way of talking. Pierre.
It wasn't me. He was dead when I got here.
You've got 5 seconds to tell me who you work for. 1. 2.
No one, man. No one. I didn't do it. Leave me alone. Leave me alone.
At least this mechanic is trying to run away. Still, I'm not gonna let him. Now, I don't think I had to take him down in order to get the good ending with Jock. You'll understand what I mean by that once it happens. But, well, let's just say things could have ended poorly.
While you're in the air, I guess I'll be...
At the start of Area 51, the last area in the game.
What's that computer system for? The one with the blue face for an interface?
Oh, nothing. Just something for passing the time and amusing guests.
It has access to quite a bit of information, including information about me.
An old prototype, for Daedalus, actually. It doesn't really handle surveillance in its current state.
So you have your own private echelon system?
Mr. Denton, your pilot is waiting. You will be my representative at Vandenberg. Meanwhile, I have other preparations to make.
Still no further words about beers. Well, whatever. I'm not here to make moral judgments. I'm just here to assist an ally for a mutual benefit. So, Jock, how's the helicopter?
I talked to Savage. Sounds like Vandenberg may be in some trouble. Get in.
You better double-check your systems. That mechanic was an imposter.
Yeah?
Everett doesn't know him. What did he work on?
The fuel system. Now that you mention it. Wait a minute. This isn't right.
What isn't?
Oh my God, JC, a bomb!
A bomb?
It's remote controlled. Hold on.
Get out of there.
Just have to pull this wire. There. Relax. I disabled the detonator. We can drop the thing in the Atlantic on the way back to the States. Make a good detective, JC. Ready to get out of here?
Let's go.
First time I went to Morgan Everett's place, I didn't realize that you had to knock out the mechanic, or at least go back and talk to Everett. And that was a sad day. You know, there's another central topic based in Science Corner that I haven't gotten around to yet, and after our chat with Morpheus, I think now is the best time to discuss artificial intelligence and robotics. The theory. It's hard to say exactly when humans first conceived of the idea of artificial life forms. After all, we've been conceiving real life forms from the very start, so it's not much of a leap. Perhaps it was the bronze automatons which Hephaestus built, or else the story of Pygmalion and Galatea, in which a statue is brought to life by the power of the goddess of love. Maybe it's the Golem of Prague, and of other cities, a monster of clay given the breath of life by a rabbi and ordered to guard the Jewish ghetto. Still, most folks would agree that the modern myth of the artificial intelligence began with Frankenstein, published in 1818. It's the now classic story of a man who became obsessed with creating life only to regret his decision once he succeeded. His creation, ugly and abandoned, is forced to survive on his own, and being rejected by everyone for his appearance, the creature swears vengeance upon his creator. The two almost reconcile when the creature asks for a female companion in exchange for leaving humanity behind forever. But then, out of fear of a race of monsters coming to plague humanity, Frankenstein destroys the woman, and the monster responds by killing all those whom Frankenstein loved. In the end, Frankenstein dies, chasing his creation to the North Pole, and the creature laments his passing, fully aware of his own loneliness and the wretchedness of his actions. Since Frankenstein, there have been all sorts of stories about the creations of humanity rising up and destroying us. One notable play, Rossum's Universal Robots, added that word, robot, to the English language. In the original Czech, the word means serf labor. In fact, Frankenstein and RUR typify the two anxieties used in most fiction about robots and AIs. First is the anxiety about child rearing. Frankenstein spent 9 months working on his monster, and his sudden change of heart at seeing the ugly little thing he created sounds an awful lot like postpartum depression. All the monster wanted was someone to accept him, warts and all. But when even his father couldn't do so, there was nothing left for him but hatred and revenge. There are a lot of stories out there about robots who want to learn what it is to be human, and although they are usually more intelligent than a child, it is the same concept as the Bildungsroman, the coming-of-age story. There's also some anxiety about getting replaced by our children. You might say that building a race of robots is to humanity what getting beaten by his son at sports is to a father. But the fear of a robot uprising feeds more into the second anxiety, fear of the lower classes. Civilization is built on a pyramid of blood, sweat, and tears, and the people at the top have always feared what would happen if those at the bottom finally get sick of the inequality and decide to even out the flow of blood. It certainly happened often enough over the years. It's all about hubris and politics, class warfare, and revenge, and it's why robots are named after a word for serfdom. However, in the 1940s, a man named Isaac Asimov came along and thought, why not think of robots as machines, rather than as analogies of the human condition? After all, we build catwalks with railings. And we cover wires and insulation, so why not build robots with safeguards against all that uprising nonsense? And so, the 3 laws of robotics were born. 1. A robot may not injure a human being or, through inaction, allow a human being to come to harm. 2. A robot must obey the orders given to it by human beings, except where such orders would conflict with the first law. 3. A robot must protect its own existence, as long as such protection does not conflict with the first or second law. Of course, even Asimov didn't think such vague laws would be very effective. Most of his robot stories are about the problems that come with interpreting these laws. For instance, in the short story Little Lost Robot, robots and humans are working together on a space station. A common task requires a human to stand in a room bathed by gamma rays. But while it's a short exposure that doesn't cause much trouble, it's still enough harm that a passing robot would often dive in to rescue the human, frying its sensitive circuitry in the process. As such, the station needs robots with weakened first laws, but this allows one robot to develop a superiority complex, along with a loophole that would allow it to harm a human through indirect means. The practice. The first calculation device ever invented was the abacus, which allows the user to count out in various digits to make arithmetic easier. It even predates the written numerical system. Over the centuries, we've developed all sorts of analog computers, a category which includes every tool ever devised to assist in calculations. The astrolabe, the slide rule, the sector, and the differential analyzer. Starting in the 20th century, we developed the first mechanical computers, devices which used binary mechanical switches and logic gates in order to calculate artillery trajectories. In the 1940s, computers took a big step forward thanks to Alan Turing and the efforts to crack the German Enigma encryption device. Not long after, we developed the first electronic random access memory, which used a cathode ray tube to store temporary information. This was an important step, since without RAM, you cannot store and re-input data without resetting the machine. At the same time, we developed transistors, which are electronic as opposed to mechanical switches. Earlier, we had to use bulky vacuum tubes to separate the 3 sides of the electronic switch, but the transistor is easy to miniaturize, and its discovery led to the integrated circuits which would shrink computers from room-sized to palm-sized over the course of 40 years. Nowadays, circuits have become so small that we've stopped shrinking computers and started powering them up. Artificial intelligence is quite simple. It is a program that, once begun, will continue to self-execute without human input. A robot is a machine operated by an AI. Basic programs like automated factories are pretty simple. Attach bolts 1 through 7 to frame part X, or weld points A through M on frame parts Y and Z. Over time, we have developed AIs able to complete more complicated tasks. A good meter stick has been logic games. They began with tic-tac-toe, then moved on to checkers and chess, and then, back in 2011, the IBM computer Watson won a Jeopardy show against Ken Jennings and Brad Rutter. These days, we're developing AIs which can drive cars safely, identify human speech, recognize faces, and sort random information for important facts. Most of you are at least aware of Siri, an artificial intelligence which acts as a vocal interface for the iPhone. Modern processing power goes far beyond the limits of human neurons. But there is one thing we've got that computers struggle with: pattern recognition. There's something about the precision of binary that makes imperfection and uncertainty hard to master. A baby knows to look at a person's face almost immediately, but only recently have we built up enough processing and software capability for an AI to even try to recognize a face without human assistance. The various inflections and tones of human speech have also been difficult to master, especially for anyone who speaks a non-standard dialect or with an accent. Even though for a human, it's a simple matter of gaining an understanding of vocabulary. Some people and languages are hard to understand, but it's still a far simpler matter to us than it is to a computer. Moore's law states that the number of transistors on a microchip will double every 2 years, and so far he's been basically right on the money. Some folks see technology as following an exponential curve, and they believe that we are about to hit the point x equals 1, which is where the line will change gears and really take off. They call this the technology singularity, the point at which human technology will exceed human understanding, and will all be either left behind or else dragged along for the ride. The whole concept is pretty vague, but one idea is to put an AI on a server with immense potential, provide it with the entire internet as input, and then tell the program to refine its programming. The improvements won't likely be much, but over 10,000 iterations it could add up to something that reaches further than any human mind could possibly go. Of course, the million-dollar question is, what happens next? Personal thoughts. What does it mean to be sentient? What does it mean to be sapient? Our brains are a complex package, so what parts of it are required, and which could be removed? Is cold logic all we need? What about emotional intelligence, social intelligence? What about input processing and creativity, self-control and decision-making? These are the questions that artificial intelligence requires us to ask. We can assume that a planet similar to Earth would produce an intelligence similar to humans. After all, the foundations are the same. And we can see just on our planet that life has a lot in common even under vastly different conditions. But binary is not like DNA. Logic gates do not act like neurons. Hard drives and random access memory do not hold thoughts like a brain, and no human being was ever crafted by a team of programmers. The analogies are there, yes, but the foundation is completely different. So how would we know that an AI had reached human-level intelligence? How would it think? What does it mean to go beyond human intelligence? How could we possibly conceive of that? And what would the AI gain in the process of reaching our level? People like to think of a cold, emotionless machine when they think of an AI, but I'm not sure intelligence is possible without emotions, or something similar to them. Logic and emotion are not opposed, after all. Emotion is very logical. We wouldn't have them if they didn't make sense. We avoid pain because things that are painful can destroy us. We seek out pleasure because things that are pleasurable can help us. That sounds perfectly logical to me. It's more complicated than that, of course, but every emotion you feel has a reason that dates back between tens of thousands to billions of years. You know, if you really think about it, there's also a sort of 3 laws of organics. First, an organic cannot harm itself or through an action allow itself to come to harm. And before you ask the obvious questions, physical pain is only the most obvious form of harm, and sometimes we have to choose the lesser of 2 evils. Also, I mentioned before that some animals can project their sense of self onto others, and thus to sacrifice a single fleshy body to defend the greater self of a community is a price well worth paying. Second, an organic must grow. And again, physical growth is only the most obvious kind. Third, an organic must reproduce, or at the very least, contribute to the growth of others. Now, the order of the organic laws isn't as ironclad as Asimov's. For instance, a parent may put his or her life on hold to raise a child, but then again, one must be physically mature to have a child at all, and raising a kid is a learning experience in itself. Now, I don't think the singularity will ever really happen. If nothing else, there are limits imposed by available resources and the laws of physics themselves. But if we do get to the point of creating a self-refining AI, then I think we would do well to use the laws of organics rather than the laws of robotics to serve as its foundation. If nothing else, it will produce predictable results, which is something we need when so much else is unknown. Perhaps we will cause our own extinction, but maybe we'll get lucky. and the AI will include all us humans in its sense of self. Then we might just get that benevolent god that Morpheus thinks we want to create. Thanks for joining me again in Science Corner, and I hope I'll see you soon.